Hello, welcome back to the
Wanda
Vision After Show. And we're talking about episode 8 today and a bunch of other stuff. And we're one away from the season finale, quite possibly the series finale. But you're listening to this on the Han Talks First channel. I am Han, joined by my girlfriend,
Chris. Hi.
And we're here today to talk with you, share our theories, kind of recap what went on in today's episode, and talk about all things spoiler related. So if you haven't seen it, go watch it and then come back, save this in your watch later playlist, and then you can join in on the fun. But until then, please give this video a like. Helps out so much. If you're in the chat right now, which I see some of you, welcome Max, welcome Republic Guardian, aka Star Wars 501st. Thank you guys for joining us today. And anyone else who is here, please leave your name in the chat. Like the video, helps out a lot, and leave your comments below after this video is done, sharing your theories for next week's finale. So, like we do every week, we just start off by giving our general thoughts, and then we'll get down a little deeper into everything. So, let's start with you.
So I like this episode a lot. It kind of just gives you like literally backstory for not only Wanda, but also for Agatha Harkness, and pretty much doesn't give you away too much, but it gives you enough for you to like piece everything together. And then it's literally walking through Wanda's life and trying to figure out how this all happened in the first place. And safe to say, I cried because I'm a baby. But also, it was really well done. But no intro this time, so don't worry. I'm not gonna rant for like 15 minutes about how cool it is. But I'm gonna rant about how cool everything else is. So we'll get to that later.
Yeah. For me, we finally got to get a little bit more info on Agatha. I kind of assumed that this episode or the finale episode would kind of go back in time and, you know, recap how things got started, things like that. So this was just strictly a setup episode for the finale, and it was good. We got to learn a bunch of things about how the hex started, how Agatha kind of started, which is really cool, and just makes me even more excited for next week's episode. There's a lot to unpack in this episode, and
a lot.
Yeah, and we'll break down everything. If you are listening to us for the first time, this is also a podcast. If you're watching the video, you can check it out on Spotify, Apple, Amazon, everywhere else, and you can find it there. We also talk about Star Wars Monday and Wednesday here on the show. This is actually episode 99. On Monday is episode 100 of the Han Talks First podcast. So yeah, you can also check it out there as well. And if you are listening on the audio platform, you can watch the video on YouTube, Facebook, and starting next week on Twitch as well. So
cool.
Yeah, I thought the episode was good. It was. I was a little sad we didn't get to see, some more Jimmy and some more Monica
and Darcy and
all the other
gang.
characters. But it was
and no Vision.
No Vision.
Technically,
it was. This was a necessary episode, though. I missed the whole gang.
Yeah.
Because everyone in the show kind of makes it what it is. Yeah. So you have a lot of pictures here to go through. Do you want to start with something and pull one of them up?
Let's see what we can start with. Sorry, I went and like grabbed as many photos as I could for this episode.
Well, what about the thing you sent me? Is this about Agatha?
Oh yeah. So
should I read this first?
So that one can go into later when we do talk about the reveal from today.
Oh, okay.
Oh, from yesterday.
Cool. Yeah, we'll talk about that later.
Actually, I don't have any from the beginning of the episode, strangely enough, even though like I grabbed like a 50 million. Wait, didn't I grab some from like the witch trials thing?
Not that I saw, but we could talk about that real quick. The opening scene with Salem. So last week, I think I made the comparison that I used to live next to Salem, but it was actually Old Salem, and the Salem this takes place in is New Salem. So that was the difference. It was New and Old Salem. So or the other way around, I can't remember. So they were the same colony, but one transferred over. Anyway, that's American history that no one cares about. But
it switches, so it's cool though.
Right. So this one we got to see that Agatha was a part of an ancient coven, and betrayed them for reasons of going into darker magic and stuff like that.
Mhm.
You want to talk about it?
Yes, I have a theory that because her magic turns purple and the rest of the witch's magic is blue, that she might have tapped into the dark dimension similarly to like where Dormammu lives. Further tying it into the whole Doctor Strange thing, that would be pretty cool. Because somebody actually also pointed out that each type of magic has a different color so far. Because I mean, Doctor Strange's magic is like an orangey gold color. Wanda's is red, since that's chaos magic we will get into. Then you have possibly, I think, necromancy magic would be green. Because that's what Hela used in Thor Ragnarok to like get her army.
Yeah.
That's a theory that I have as well. What's the other one? Oh, blue for regular witch magic, which also ties in to Wiccan having blue magic instead of like the red magic like Wanda. And I think that's it. And yeah, purple for like dark dimension stuff, kind of like what was this? Mads Mikkelsen. Mads Mikkelsen and Dormammu type magic. So like forbidden dark dimension magic.
So there's 4 different types of magic.
Yeah, 4 or 5 depending on
from what we've seen.
Counts, yeah.
And it looks like the most common magic form is the blue one, which the other witches had in the opening.
Yeah.
And because Agatha had tapped into the darker stuff, she had more of a purple hue to her magic, and you could see it kind of like when they were all firing at her, and then it transferred to blue, and it, instead of them killing her, she was actually draining them of their magic, which was really cool. And it was funny because before this we were watching, what were we watching? Oh, Dr. Sleep. And they in that movie they like drain what they call steam from other
beings,
people who can shine, and it just reminded me of that.
Yeah, because you were like, oh, they're taking the steam away.
Yeah, and
it's like, well, it's shining.
And we also referenced Dark Crystal at one point on the show, Essence. So there's a lot of that type of stuff happening in filmmaking today. But I like the opening. I thought it was cool. It solidified that she's not ancient, but she's a really old being, and she is destined, or she wants as much power as she can get. And she says in this episode that she, basically stumbled across this west view because she felt the presence of, Wanda's magic, and she's just there to try and like exploit that. And get that for herself, to figure out how she did it, because she obviously has like a thirst for all forms of magic, kind of like a Voldemort almost, to study everything.
She is the shark in the yogurt magic commercial.
Yes,
very clearly.
I feed off
like,
yo magic.
I'm just like, stop. It's like, don't take it away from Wanda. But oh my god, there were so many cool reveals this time around. Basically, Wanda's not able to do anything to like Agnes while she's in her lair, but we do see a lot more. Basically, they never exit the basement, but they do go through multiple rooms of Wanda's life, and they basically throw a bunch of like reveal bombs, not to be too like literal.
Yeah.
With that, like we go through literally her childhood and why she's so obsessed with sitcoms, relatable moment, and like TV and just like content, and wanting her life to be like that, because she did have her family, they were happy, and then in the midst of that they just lose absolutely everything. But she's able to protect herself and Pietro through her powers, and she just thought the bomb never went off, but that was fully
like that.
her.
I like that she kind of suppressed that memory, or tried to remember it differently, to not, because she maybe couldn't accept that she was different. And so I like that addition.
She's like,
too.
oh no, it never went off. It was effective. Well, it was 2 days. Apparently, they were stuck under that like bed. I'm like, girl, that wasn't the bomb.
Exactly.
You're the bomb.
There's tons to talk about. What if we just go through these pictures here and then kind of pick up things as we go through?
Of course, yeah. I mean, the next thing that we're going to talk about ties into like that photo because of the Hydra thing.
Okay, cool. So this is a scene from the show, and this is kind of what we're talking about when they were walking through the memories. This one was when she was with Hydra as a quote volunteer,
Test
which
subject, yeah.
yeah.
I'm still kind of really angry and like not really into the whole thing that they had them, Pietro and Wanda, be quote unquote radicalized and made to volunteer for Hydra, like the terrorist organization full of like Nazis, when they're like have like their origins completely go against that. I'm just like, you know what? They were like brainwashed technically, so like let's accept it for now. But this was pretty damn cool. They basically, because previously they tried to imply that it was a mind stone that gave her her powers, but it's more so that they let her like fully just basically like the use 100% of your brain kind of thing, but to her powers.
Yeah.
Because other than that, her powers might have only been like probability manipulation and stuff like that. But fully on, she tapped into the whole like Scarlet Witch magic, and now she can just literally alter reality completely. This is a version of that photo, the same photo, but just with the saturation put up or something. Just the contrast, sorry. I think they just like edited the photo so you can actually see that it is her, even with like the full on makeup and everything.
Mm-hmm.
It's just really cool how within the Mind Stone she could see basically her final form.
Yeah, and I like that scene because it kind of was almost a premonition of like, hey,
Yeah.
this is who you are, accept it. You know, this is
Right.
who you're destined to become, whether
Mhm.
whether you like it or not. You know, that doesn't mean she's going to be evil
Right.
necessarily, but she is, as Agatha said, the Scarlet Witch,
Mhm.
and yeah, this scene meant a lot to the story because you know the entire arc of Wanda has been she's just trying to cope with the fact that she's
Mhm.
different and she feels
And
like
just
she's meant for
lost.
destruction, yeah, and
Mhm.
lost and broken, and the whole time elements of the universe are trying to say, hey, just be you, it's okay, you
Right,
know, this is
exactly.
who you're meant to be. It reminds me of Frozen 2,
Mhm.
when like you are the one you've been waiting for your whole life,
Yeah. Oh my god.
just
Show yourself on.
show yourself. Show yourself, Wanda.
Like truly, it's just her whole thing is that she thinks that these are something to be like, her powers are something to be afraid of, something
Yeah.
to like, she's a monster, all that. But like, she literally can use that for anything that she wants. She literally, I mean, here in the Hex, she's using it like Agatha said, for breakfast, for dinner. She can use it for good too. She can use it for whatever she wants. It's just the potential of ultimate destruction and evil that scares her. The thing is, she is a fundamentally good person. She's just going through a lot of trauma, and like Agatha also said, has a lot of therapy ahead of her to do.
Yeah.
So I don't know. She obviously isn't evil. She's just a very troubled person with a good heart and like at the core. So it's good to see that, like, despite like how manipulated she's been and how much she's been through, she's still persevering to be a good person.
Yeah. I want to jump to the comment real quick
Oh,
because Max puts his input in here. I really like the episode, but I think episode 5 and 6 are better, and I would give it a 8.5 out of 10. I think last week you also said you gave it an 8 out of 10. So you must really be liking this show.
Mhm.
5 and 6. I don't remember necessarily which those were about, but I did really love I think the first 3 episodes are still my favorite. I
Mm.
love the
Slow
sitcom-y
build,
stuff.
yeah.
Uh,
Like slow build for like,
yeah,
but
the
just
mystery element,
mhm.
which is really
I
cool.
do miss the whole like very like stylized time period setting,
Yeah.
but I do love where it's going. Honestly, like I have no complaints. This is like right up my alley, so I don't even know anymore. Uh
So we talked about the flashback of her as a child
mhm,
with her parents, and then the flashback of her
mhm,
with the Mind Stone,
mhm.
and what was the third
Oh,
one that
Age
she
of
had?
no, Civil War, where she's with Vision and he tells
That's
her that
right.
morning. That was
That's
really
right.
sweet. I really enjoyed that, where he's like comforting her and he tells her that mourning isn't just pain, but it's love persevering.
Yeah, I love
And
that.
I'm like tearing up a little. It's just such a nice quote. And like, he's literally not a human, but he has so much heart to him. And like, he's able to connect with her on like such a human level, despite him not going through loss at that moment. He didn't know what it was.
Yeah.
So from an outside perspective, for him to make that connection, it's kind of crazy.
Yeah.
And I mean, that's obviously why they have such a good like connection and chemistry and have such a strong love. It's just because they're both seen as like outsiders pretty much.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
And each flashback was to represent each loss in her life, her brother, her parents, and Vision. And then it built up to leading up to the moment. All this was done because Agatha wanted to understand like her history and how she was able to tap into these powers. And one thing I said to you was Wanda is this innate magic user, and she doesn't have, she's so powerful with it, she doesn't have to study spells or conjure things up. She can just do it. And that makes her like one of the strongest people in the MCU. I mean, Kevin Feige said it himself, to be able to go up against Thanos, but that wasn't even her at her full power. Because she still has no idea what she is.
Imagine when she knows and like she like fully harnesses it and like hones it.
And I think that's what we're building up to is full on Scarlet Witch, which she revealed at the end, of course.
Yeah. And before we go into anything else, since we did see the parents, for some reason, because of the commercials, I was low-key expecting them, like those two actors, to be the parents. That would have been an interesting touch.
What do you mean?
The lady and the man in the first commercials.
Oh, it's not the same person?
No.
Oh,
like
okay.
It would have been fun.
I thought it was
to
going
have
to be.
them be like, no, because these ones were a little bit more blonde and the lady had like darker hair, different facial structure.
Okay.
But it would have been cool to be like, oh, it's like representing her parents. Maybe it could have been just like different style. Just it would have been a cool, interesting touch. But I mean, they're real people living in Westview, so had to be just random casting.
Yeah. One thing about Westview, the way she manipulated the town once she arrived there, which we'll talk about in a second. But I think I really like how they showed it as kind of like a broken, desolate place, decrepit almost, just no real life there, and everyone who they shined the camera onto was just kind of depressed. Yeah. And so in a way, she kind of brought some life and some happiness to that village. It was still without
and
their
you're gonna bring happiness to your town whether you like it or not. Pretty much.
Right. Still without, consent and stuff. But it's like, in a way, she was doing some good there in some way. Not the right way to do it.
Right.
I liked how they showed
it was
that
just like
it wasn't just
town.
it wasn't just some random town. It was a town that's in need of help. And so this might bring awareness to that, and maybe when this is all over, the people in the town will be like, you know what, we need to change like how we do things because
right,
we're all sad and lonely people.
Right. I didn't see any kids either.
No.
For the children. Sorry.
So then after all those flashbacks, we get to the part where she, goes into sword.
And I want to absolutely, I know I've said this before, but I want to punch Hayward in the face and then give him a kick to the nether regions.
Yeah.
Because I hate this man so much. And we just keep finding out more stuff that just keeps making me even more furious. Sorry, I feel really strongly about this because this man is just the absolute worst. This is the truest villain of WandaVision, and I will not take any other answers. At least Agatha is interesting and fun.
Yeah.
This guy's just a bitch.
And this was a nice touch because, it didn't just show her going in there and taking Vision's body or whatever, but it actually showed that he manipulated this footage and made it look like she went in there and stole Vision's body, but she never did. So the question is,
she did was open the door with her powers, and that's it. And he like completely manipulated the sword, like employee base. Because I'm just like, I'm sure somebody might have been like, no, sir, like I was there. She didn't do that. But he's like, no, she stole his body. Because I mean, the body is in Westview. But we'll get into that.
Which means and then you brought this up, I'll let you say it, but she was able to conjure up a whole new biological, mystical, corporeal being out of Vision. So it wasn't the robot that we thought it was. And you came up with the theory.
I don't know if we should say it later. I guess I'll say it right now. I'm just kind of curious. Did Wanda create vibranium out of nowhere? Because Hayward was able to track Vision within Westview and the Hex. How is he doing that?
How would he do it?
how would he know? Nobody's gonna know.
Nobody's gonna know.
Sorry. But I mean, there's also the way it could have been because like they had like visuals on it, so they can just be like, okay, here he goes, he's going this way, so he's here, or something.
But
But they had like a like GPS thingy with him on it.
they made a
Like
point
tracker.
to say it in the dialogue. They're tracking Vision.
Exactly. So how? So either because also when he was over, like when Wanda was over at Sword, he said, "Oh, you can't put your boyfriend back online." And then he's like, "Oh, back to life." And he's like, "He's not yours." Well, Wanda made her own.
Yeah.
And I mean,
He wanted her to do. He
also,
wanted her to take it.
Yeah, because he was like pushing her. He's like, "We can't have you take all this vibranium." She just wanted to have a proper burial for him. And this guy is like, "No, this is like he's a weapon." And I mean, Vision's not a weapon. Sure, he has a lot of power, but if he was still like if they had just like rebuilt him or left him as he is, he has no like destructive capabilities.
Right.
Like he is a good person and he's also dead. So like what danger is he? Like literally none. But this man, this Hayward, just wanted to like try to push Wanda to take it. But her grief is so much and her love is so pure that she just literally just left. She said, I mean, there's nothing I can do. She couldn't feel him when she touched him. She was trying to tap into his mind. Look how they massacred my boy. This is so painful to watch. I was like squirming.
Yeah, it was an emotional scene. You know, she had to see that. You know, not only is she seeing her like her lover being, you know, tested on and manipulated, but
apart.
Also showing that he was a robot. Yeah, I'm sure she accepted that, but just to see it.
Right.
To see it and like have him dehumanized right in front of her, which just is worse than him just, you know, dying. He's
being objectified, literally.
Yeah. And that's why that scene was so powerful.
It was like so devoid of any like emotion and like attention and care how they were treating him. Like sure, they were in like full PPE and with tools and whatnot, but they were fully just taking him apart, scraping his like outer layers off, pulling him apart. Like it was just super violent while being super like just clinical at the same time. It was painful to watch.
Yeah.
Especially since we know how human he was really, despite being machine. He just was so like in tune with like humanity at the point that like before dying he just had achieved such a like level of compassion.
Yeah. And then of course after this scene she went on and went to the house that he had bought for them to grow old in, and so that explains how she was able to get like why Westview.
Right.
And
she didn't just take over some random person's house.
Yeah. And my theory to this, going off of what I said before about the town's state that it was in and the environment, my theory is that before the Thanos' snap, this was a very, very nice town, filled with life and love and happy people, suburbia. And Vision, you know, purchased the property obviously before this, and was going to build the house. And then after the snap happened, a lot of people went away, and the town just kind of started to die. And the home, this foundation, just stayed there for 5 years, and no one bothered to, you know, pick it back up. So that's why it's still there. So I love the difference between that, because you know, they got money, so obviously they would have bought a really nice place in a nice area,
right?
And then it just turned into this. So she was like making it what she thought it would be, and it was such a beautiful scene.
Because she basically, this whole show, I mean, it's kind of clear what it was. She was building the home that she wanted to have with him, but now it's clear that it was something that they were working toward.
Yeah,
they had the plans for it. Literally, they had the plot. They had everything in motion for them to have their life here, to retire and just be happy, maybe build a family, like they said, like literally, like they had this all together, and then she just lost it but the remnants are still there, the bits and pieces are there. So what does she do? I mean, all this emotion blows up within her, and her power is unleashed. With her powers, she magically conjures up a vision, and it still has like the yellow tone to the end. So would it be that because of the contact with the mind stone that she has, she's able to retransfer it out as a manifestation of not only her power but the mind stones?
Yeah. It's interesting. I didn't think it was her creating a brand new vision from nothing, but she did. And one thing I want to point out about this whole scene of her creating this new Westview is she has so much power, but it's unmanaged. She's literally out of control, and I think she throughout this series she's going to learn how to tap into that, because obviously she like OD'd, for lack of a better phrase, on creating Westview.
Yeah.
And I think because of that, it kind of affected her memory of things, and that's why she forgot
the opening for it.
Yeah,
because it was from such trauma and hurt that she just said, no, this is our life now.
Yeah,
starting now.
Yeah,
pretty much.
Yeah, I love that background on how Westview was made. I think that was a great way to do it. And then it also affirmed that, through this, that Agatha all along meaning was just trying to mess up Westview,
exactly,
not actually create Westview, which I liked as well, because
that would have not been
when Monica said it's all Wanda. We should have believed that. And
because of like the whole like Monica thing, we actually saw those scenes. Remember like the brief flashbacks that Monica had when she was talking about what it felt like to be in the hex? Like when she went in, they showed the part where she's at the block crying, and then like the burst, I think, if I remember correctly, at least the crying part, because I remember seeing that when she said it was like drowning.
Oh, I missed it.
It was like in like the first episode when Monica was out and she was talking to like the sword people, and she's like, oh, it felt like drowning. They show like a bunch of images super quickly, and one of them is her like bawling her eyes out before she like when she was at the plot.
Oh, okay.
And stuff like that, and just like the creation, and then just
okay.
It was very quick.
Yeah.
I remember seeing that. I'm like, whoa, I've seen that.
I just want to get back to Max's thought here. For me, the worst Marvel and Star Wars stuff have a 7 out of 10, but Star Wars for me is another level. That's a good way to look at it.
Honestly, yeah, big mood.
So moving on, the next, or do you have something else?
Oh, I was gonna say super quick. I don't like one thing I didn't like about this episode, aside from like no Monica, Darcy, Woo stuff, is that we got confirmation that it's Pietro. It's a fake Pietro. I like the name Pietro. It's really funny. I just the whole comment about like, oh, it's not necromancy because your brother's full of holes. I'm like, oh. But I mean, it kind of hurts me to be like, oh no, it's just like this random dude. Like she didn't really say that, but like I would be like, oh, I had to grab another one or something. Like just say I had to get another Pietro, like something a little bit more like hint, nudge, nudge, for like it being Fox Pietro, like X-Men Pietro. That would have been pretty cool. Because otherwise, this kind of just sounds like she just made the guy up, but she can't make life, so she had to bring some other person out. What did she do? I think
her goal is to try and figure out how to create life.
Yeah, exactly. So like I don't know who the guy is then. Like it makes no sense. I kind of just want them to like Vision to like tap into him and see what this guy's deal is then. I kind of just want to be like, gotta go fast and just like something like that, because like I'm just like
Well, let's talk about Katherine Han real quick, because one thing I noticed about this episode for me is that I started to like the character more. I've never really been a big fan of Katherine Han, and it's mostly just the movie she's in, the like Step Brothers and Mom's Club or something like that. I don't know, but throughout time, most recently, she's been getting less and less work, and I kind of thought she was disappearing from Hollywood. And it's nice to see that she's coming back and doing a completely different role, something that's not just farce humor. And I love seeing her in this, and it's different for her, and it's a whole nother side that I probably appreciate a lot. So I'm glad that she came in, and they're bringing in actresses like this that really you wouldn't think of when you think of Marvel content. So it's really nice to see that as well.
But it fits so well. Also, I like that she's still able to be a comedic actress within the role of Agatha.
Yeah.
And Agnes, but it
It's
shows like
it's
her
diegetic
villainous.
humor.
Exactly. It's not very like, oh, what's the guy from Step Brothers' name? Wreck-It Ralph farted.
Oh, John C. Reilly?
Yeah. Or is it Will Ferrell the other guy? I don't know. I haven't seen that in a long time. But yeah, it's more like, oh, I killed the dog. I do like her, like some of her other previous roles, but I like that now recently she's basically tapping into her whole like a charming, mischievous like villain role, kind of like how she did like the almost dual role as voice acting as Doc Ock in Spider-Verse, where she's like completely just like, oh, I'm just a wacky scientist, and then she's like, no, I'm an evil like tentacle monster, and I'm gonna like rip you apart. Oh, I completely missed out that I did send this is Agatha Harkness being
There it is.
Punished, but then sucking out the power of the witches coven.
Yeah. Good scene. Good opening for this one. What is this one?
Oh, that was I sent you memes too.
Should I click on it?
Sure. This is how I feel about the MCU and here, so it says, in kindness there's evil, because Wanda is kind but has a little bit of like very strong emotions that could be like taken apart. And evil, there's kindness. So you have Loki, who's like literally god of mischief and just like a trickster, but also he's good. Then you have balanced, as all things should be. Then you have Peter Parker, who's a pure cinnamon roll. And then you have this bitch. I just thought it was a really good meme.
That's funny.
Me laugh because it's just, I don't know. But then you have this one that's like how I feel waiting for new episodes. I'm scared. Or then this is whenever Hayward's on screen.
That's funny.
Accidentally. I'm so sorry. I didn't realize.
Yes, this is me for next week. I'm scared of what's to come. Okay, so what about, let's talk about the elf in the room, because you have a lot of photos.
Oh my god, I have a lot of photos of this.
Obviously, the big reveal for this episode was Silver Vision. I don't know his name.
So I don't think he has like a different name. People just kind of call him White Vision because he's like the white version of Vision. He's white. He's very white. So after credits scene,
we knew that after Chili con Carne.
Yes.
Now it's just represented.
But yeah, turns out Project Cataract is exactly what it
Winter's
sounds
coming.
like. He does look like a White Walker. This is the Night King, but like he got Botox.
Winter is coming.
He got a facelift. Look at him. He looks so good. But yeah, this is what it's referencing in the comics. There is a version of Vision.
This is what.
Did I say that?
Yeah, I think we're going to say who and what at the same time.
What?
This is what he looks like.
This is what? What?
I'm just making fun of you. Go ahead.
Rude. So yeah, there's this version of Vision during the comics where I think it's just he's like either brought back and he's just like devoid of like everything that he had previously in his memory card, so to say, the memory card that is in his cart. And this is Scarlet Witch and the White Vision. Here we go. So
I've actually seen this picture before, but I just assumed it was Silver Surfer.
Yeah, the Silver Surfer, like they look very similar. I'll be fair. Like sometimes they do give him like his little cape for like Vision, and he has like more of like the bluish shadow, because Silver Surfer's a little bit more like gray in his tone.
Chrome, yeah.
More chrome, shiny and chrome. He's being witnessed. Sorry for all like the random references I'm throwing in, guys. I'm all over the place today. Oh, did I do something?
Oh, just into the mic.
Oh, but here he is next to his comic counterpart. Yeah,
it looks good.
He looks really good. Yeah, look, he's a full on they just kind of brought him back to life using Wanda's powers that they stored, like because like of the affected drone that they had. So now he basically is using Wanda's powers against her to do the thing that she had asked him not to do, and that the Sokovia Corps had asked him not to do, and that Vision's will basically asked him not to do because he's an asshole. He is making a weapon out of Vision, which is the one thing he didn't want to be.
Right. So this is
It's
essentially
infuriating.
this is Ultron 2.0.
Pretty much, yeah. We haven't because we haven't had like the Ultron voice cameo, have we?
Oh, there's supposed to be one. It's probably next episode. He's probably going to sound like Ultron.
But the thing is, I mean, I guess so. But wouldn't he still be Jarvis inside, like the voice bank?
Maybe.
It would be cool if he
hard
had
to
like
say.
a weird, like when they have
Hybrid.
like when they have both voices sounding at the same time, it sounds like super
Yeah.
like eerie and like robotic. That would be pretty cool.
Yeah. Speaking of like voice modulation, if you go back to last week's episode to the part where Wanda is being interviewed by the crew, and the person's like,
"What don't you think it's what you deserve?"
Yeah, do you think it's what you deserve? You can hear the modulation on Agatha's voice, and it is
I
Katherine
thought it was
Han.
a guy. That's crazy.
Yeah, I did
like
too.
once he pointed it out, I'm just like,
Yeah, you can hear her cadences and stuff in her voice. So check that out too if you want to see. Let's see what this is over here. I call him White Vision, but he will be against Wanda because I think he is controlled by Sword.
Definitely. Like this is
Of
going to be
course.
under Hayward's control. I do think though that we're missing, I don't think we've seen this part in any of the episodes. In the trailer for the show, we had like regular color, like full color Vision saying, "Oh, it's our home. We're going to fight for it."
Yeah.
So I assume that's from the last episode, or it was a complete misdirect. I don't know. Or maybe Wanda is able to tap back into Vision, fuse her visions together, have a physical vision that can exist outside the hex, fuse it with this vision, take this like faux white vision out, maybe, or something.
Yeah.
It just, I really want them to. I don't want Wanda to have to kill Vision again. We've gone through this so many times.
Yeah, and at this point, this becomes an Avengers level threat. It's Ultron. It's Ultron 2.0. So how they're going to do this next episode, I'm not sure. I mean, Sword is obviously probably, controlling how much of this gets out, but someone's got to come in, someone we know, because like Thor or somebody, because this is a big deal. And it's only like what, a week after everyone comes back, is that right?
Pretty much, yeah.
Yeah, because it was 3 days when she like invaded the Sword play. It was like 3 or 5 days. I can't remember. It was less than a week.
Yeah.
But at this point, we're probably like 2 weeks in. So the Avengers are there.
Right.
I don't know. It's just weird. It's a pretty big deal having a Vision come back. But I don't think he'll be controlled by Sword, actually. I think at first it'll appear that way, and then he'll go off on his own. Because he's the ultimate powerful being.
We also haven't gotten the cameo or like the appearance of the person who Paul Bettany was saying he wanted.
Al Pacino? Yeah, we haven't seen Al Pacino.
Al Pacino or whoever it is.
Don Pacino.
It would be cool if it's Al Pacino. It would be just very bonkers. So I'm just hoping that like it ties into the last episode being like it's like a big reveal.
Keanu Reeves.
That'd be cool.
Kevin Feige's been saying he's been trying to find something for Keanu for a long time.
Wasn't he gonna be a villain for?
He's supposed to be, but then everyone stopped talking about it, so I just assumed it was fake. But yeah, this was a great episode. So what is going to happen next week, everybody? What is going to come of White Vision? Put it in the comments below. Put it in the chat. We'll read it off if we got time.
Vision taco.
I think what's going to happen. This lady right here is going to kill this lady's children.
Oh my god, not Billy and Tommy.
They're gonna eat it.
That would be very,
because they're not real. Just like how Vision's not real. This is the real Vision. Vision 2.0, White Vision. But Oh, I guess I can read that thing you sent to me now.
Oh, yeah. So I sent over some info about what Wanda's powers basically entail.
What chaos magic is.
Mm-hmm.
So chaos magic is actually the name of a magic so powerful that it was brought into non-existence by the Sorcerer Supreme himself. So this magic can manipulate, warp, and reconstruct the very fabric of existence and reality to the user's very whims and bring out total destruction of the cosmos. Long ago, the elder god and archdemon Kython used chaos magic to rule the earth as the god of chaos. However, Earth's mages got together and ended his reign with a lie. They said there's no god of chaos and there's no chaos magic. So this became the future birthplace of Wanda, where Kython settled on Mount Wundagore, and the newborn Wanda will be touched by. Okay, so this is kind of
basically
Marvel
he touched,
theory.
like, yeah, it's not like exactly MCU based, but it's like the backstory in the comics.
And then, according to comic book lore, Agatha Harkness would later go on to learn and harness this mystique chaos energy as chaos magic.
To tutor Wanda to do it.
Oh, she tutored her.
Yeah.
Okay. So that's interesting. It
Mhm.
kind of goes off what we said before. She's one of the more I brought up the airbender, like Avatar. Like there's 4 different types of witching, witch bending, and she's got the most powerful one. So she's the Avatar.
I was also, I think I might have mentioned before a couple episodes that one of like the theories that I had was like Quicksilver's body was being possessed, I think, by Chthon. I really know how to pronounce this. Chthon. I think I met, because I mentioned that I think in the comments at one point he was also possessed by him or something. So that's also a possible theory. Not very likely for WandaVision, but interesting that that's also connected to like Wanda's source of her chaos magic usage.
Yeah.
Also, I mean, she's a Nexus being, so like she's got like all the influence that like a person can have. That and reality altering powers. English is hard. But yeah.
Okay, so cool. What's happening next week? I think it's got to be an hour long at least. It's got to be, and I think I think the chances of Wanda dying is 50-50.
I hope not.
I think.
When does she show up in Doctor Strange?
Does she?
I hope so. I thought she was in the cast list for it.
I mean, at the Marvel likes to kill people and then bring them back anyway, so maybe.
That is very true.
Okay, but I think she'll have to kill Vision again, because obviously the only person who can kill Vision is Wanda. Vision said it himself, and she's gonna have to do it again. And then after, I don't know if she'll like go nuts before then or after then. That's like something that would drive her mad, and I could see her turning evil after. But I don't think it's enough to push her to become the next big bad guy. You know?
No.
Her kid's dying, possibly, but I don't think the kids are real. And I think if they die, it won't be like a natural thing. I think it'll just be like them revealing, oh, hey, they were just fairy dust. They're not real. Yeah. So I don't think that'll do it. But yeah, I think Max said in the comments that he doesn't think there's a cameo. Oh, he said, I'm not interested in the cameo because I think it's not Magneto, because they said it hasn't leaked and Magneto is leaked. And because of the deal between Disney and Fox. Yeah, that's what I thought too. But then you got to also remember they brought in, what's his face? Evan Peters. And sorry, guys, my camera died. So can you put up a visual? Yeah. Sorry about that.
So we didn't leak. Oh my god, we've been actually able to like avoid leaks. I mean, Han, you've been able to like avoid them for a while, but I was like literally like after episode 2, I saw like the Quicksilver thing, so I'm just like, I've been trying to avoid it ever since. So if this actually leaked, that's kind of huge. I don't think it'll be. I'll look it up, I guess.
I don't think it'll be a Fox character. I think it's. I don't know. I think it's going to be someone we already know in this world. Honestly, there could not even be a cameo. I mean, we've kind of done this ourselves already in this show, is like build up things in our head that don't come to be, like the aerospace engineer, which some people theorize still hasn't even been revealed.
Right.
And that could be true as well, but I don't know. I don't know what to expect. This next episode is going to be crazy, and I don't know. Like Vision said, I'm scared.
Right. I mean, we still have a lot of possibilities.
I'm
Literally,
scared.
the MCU is, I mean, the Marvel comics like pool of characters is so huge. Like they could literally just pull out like, I don't know, like Nightcrawler would be cool and very random. I don't know. I'm just like spitballing here at this point. Can they still hear us?
Yes.
Oh, cool. Okay. All right, because this makes them stupid. But I don't know. There's still a lot that could be done and not be like expected, I suppose. I'm still hoping we get some really cool reveal, even though, I mean, we're already going to get like Monica using her powers. We're going to get Jimmy Woo back. We're going to have Darcy there being a badass doctor, maybe having powers too. I don't even know anymore. There's like, oh, also, I don't know if I've ever mentioned this theory. There was a really cool thing that I saw about Darcy possibly getting powers as well, and her actually taking over like the mantle of this other character that appears in the Loki comics, and her being in the Loki show, which could be a little bit awkward since her and was Tom Hiddleston have actually dated in the past. But
Yeah.
She could be, because when she was put into the hex and tied up into the car, she was trying to get the truth about what is going on with Sword and Hayward. And there's this character who can basically be a human lie detector and all that. And she's like one of like Loki's companions within some of the Loki runs. So I think it could be pretty cool if it's a more subtle power, but she gets involved and so can go into the next shows as well as like Thor, Love and Thunder and stuff like that.
I could see that.
That'd be pretty cool. Let's give a Jimmy Woo coffee creating powers or something.
Yes.
Card powers. He becomes, oh my god. No, I was gonna say like what's, oh my god, I'm blanking on his name right now. Like the like Louisiana guy from X-Men. I
don't know. If you guys have any theory, Gambit.
I'm just like the one with the head strap.
Well, if you guys have any theories, comment in the section below. Don't give away any spoilers for anyone who hasn't, isn't looking at leaks or things like that.
You can go crazy.
Yeah, go crazy. Put in your wildest theory in the comment section below. That's all I have for my comments on this. Good episode. Kind of a calm before the storm. Next one's gonna be crazy. Yeah. Did you have anything else to say about this episode?
Oh, now I don't remember, but I'm really excited and just cannot wait to see what happens next. Oh, hello. Hi. Oh, sorry. I didn't know if you guys could hear me or not. My microphone keeps switching on me.
Okay. Well, thank you guys so much for joining today. If you were watching on the video, I'm sorry the video went out. Didn't charge the battery long enough today. I forgot to mention, if you enjoy this show and you want to become a member, there's a Patreon page. There's also a tipping element as well. You can go to streamelements.com/HanTalksFirst/tip. Those are linked in the descriptions below the podcast and the video form. And yeah, thank you so much for joining today. Go over to the YouTube, subscribe if you haven't, check it out there, and follow the podcast on Spotify or Apple or anywhere else. Episode 100 will be on Monday, March 1st at 12 p.m. We're going live. It's going to be the biggest and the best, possibly the longest episode of Han Talks First. We're talking about Star Wars, everything going on in Star Wars world, which is how this show got started. And
so
of course,
exciting.
And of course, we'll be back next Friday for WandaVision again. So come back and join us there. And you can find us on social media as well. Just you can find me at Han Talks First, and you can find Chris at I Am Rice Crispy. And yeah, thank you guys so much for joining us today. And yeah, you want to say goodbye?
Bye. Thank you.
We'll see you guys next week. Bye.